Hello, wonderful beings. I am Anisha, and this is Wheel of Wisdom, episode number 88. And I'm so happy to have you here. Let me show you guys the Wheel of Wisdom. Okay, so this is our Wheel of Wisdom, and this wheel contains the name of, I guess, 31 books right now that have been selected out of the many books that I've read in the past 8 years. In my own journey of self transformation. So, what we do is that before we spin the wheel, I would like you guys to take a moment to bring to your mind, if there is anything specific going on in your life regarding which you would like some guidance. So, it can be a specific issue, it can be a specific area of your life. So, take a moment to think. What would you like to receive some guidance, some direction, clarity, wisdom on? And if there is nothing specific, then you can just set an intention that may I receive some general guidance for today. May I be open to that guidance for today. And when you think of something, when you have thought of something, you can let me know by pressing the heart somewhere here or around your comment to let me know that, yeah, I have something in my mind. Okay, wonderful. I have some hearts. So I'm going to take a sip and we're going to go and spin this wheel and see what is it that the universe, God, divine, consciousness, source want to convey to us. Wonderful. So we have a lot of hearts. Okay. So, whatever it is, bring that to the forefront of your mind as we spin this wheel. Okay, so the book that came for all of us is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So, like breaking out of that mental model of yourself, of that mold or the box that you have created for yourself. That this is me, this is who I am, this is Bonita, this is Rob. So, breaking the habit of being yourself, how to lose your mind and create a new one. Okay. And this book has been written by Dr. Joe Dispenza. So, let's see what this book wants to convey to all of us. So, so sometimes I ask you guys to choose a number. And sometimes, if I don't have the original book, because I have read these books over the period of 8 years, so I don't have some of those books, but I have the notes from these books. So if I have the notes, then what I do is that I turn to my intuition and, I close my eyes, scroll through the pages of the book, and I stop at a section that I feels like this is something that everyone present here needs to hear. So for this particular book, we're going to do that because, like, I have the notes. These are my notes from this book. So, so what I usually do is start with an intention and then go to the reading part, turning into my intuition. So, my intention for all of you, for me, for everyone listening to this, whether right now or later while watching the recording, is that May you go through life with may you go through life with openness and curiosity. and a sense of play and fun. And the image that I'm getting is like a field, a very open field. It goes as far as you can see. And there is a clear sky and those white fluffy clouds in the sky. And they are of different shapes. And I am feeling called to, play and see what is the shape that I see in this cloud and this one, and then weave a story. So, yeah, my intention is that this reading brings openness, curiosity, and playfulness for all of us. Okay, so let's see what wants to come through. So, I'm going to scroll through the pages of this. Okay, let's see what came up. Hmm, wonderful. So, the author says the gift of neuroplasticity, that is, the brain's ability to rewire and create new circuits at any age as a result of input from the environment and our conscious intentions. So, the author describes what is neuroplasticity, which is simply that we can change the structure and function of our brains based on what we do repeatedly or how we think repeatedly. So, the author says that the gift of neuroplasticity is that we can create a new level of mind. There is a sort of neurological out with the old, in with the new, a process that neuroscientists call pruning and sprouting. It's what I call unlearning and learning. Given that to chance our lives, we first have to change our thoughts and feelings. Sorry. Given that to change our lives, we first have to change our thoughts and feelings. Then do something, meaning change your action or behavior to have a new experience, which in turn produces a new feeling. And then we must memorize that feeling until we move into a state of being when mind and body are one. So basically, what is coming up for me as I read this message is a reminder of hope for all the people who might have given up on themselves, that they would never change, or they can't do it, or they are a certain way and they cannot be some other way that they really, really desire. So if you are one of those people, then this scientific or neurological concept, this phenomena of neuroplasticity, is a reminder that no matter what your age, so whether you are, 20-year-old or 80 years old, it doesn't matter because that basic process remains the same. You can, at any moment in your life, at any age in your life, can begin to change. And how we do that is we can start with a thought, that we can start with new ways of thinking, you know, because your thoughts are the one that influence how you feel, and and in turn how you respond, how you behave in a particular situation. So if you believe that I'm not good enough, you might feel, you know um you might feel low, you might feel like self-doubt, even depressed maybe, and then your behavior would be to procrastinate, to because you want to procrastinate so that firstly you don't have to, you know so that your belief to not gets proven again that I'm not good enough. So sometimes we do behaviors thinking that, not consciously thinking, but our subconscious is thinking that maybe if I don't put 100% of my effort, then at least I would know that if I would have put that effort, maybe I would have been able to do that. But since I have not put that effort, then this did not determine my ability. So that is what might be going on in a part of you that wants to break free from this belief, because I'm not good enough is not a good belief to have. Like, it doesn't feel good to have that. So we have a thought, we have a belief, and those thoughts determine the way we feel. That is, we feel low, we feel like worried, we feel self doubt and all of that, and we don't feel good about it, and we don't want to feel that way. So what we do is that we procrastinate, we do not do that project maybe, and we go on to watch TV, to scroll through social media so that we can feel good about ourselves. And in the place of this, if you would have had a different thought that, you know, that I can do it, I'm capable enough, I just need to break it down into small things, and then I would be able to do it. So this might have triggered a different emotion. Like you would have felt more like focused, you would have felt more determined, or you would have felt a little bit overwhelmed because maybe the project is big, but you would have more of those, okay emotions or even pleasant emotions. Maybe you like a challenge, and you feel excited about this project, and you are like, okay, I am going to win this something, whatever it is. And then if you would have felt that way, then you would have behaved differently. You would have, devoted time to that project, to research, to work out the details so that you can make that project, you can give your best in terms of whatever you can, given the time and given the energy you have, and all those other factors. So if you just change your thoughts in a way, it can have a very different impact. And and if you would like to understand this in very, in detail, then because I would like just briefly, I'm just briefly touching on this, but if you are interested in what I have just talked about, then you can, check out this particular course, because I have devoted a whole lesson in this course to explain whatever I am saying, and to show you the impact of your thoughts. And also, I have mentioned strategies, all the techniques, according to a particular approach, a particular therapeutic approach, which is CBT, to help you, reframe your thoughts, to help you change them, challenge them, so that you can have different results, because your thought determines the way you feel, and that determines the way, you behave. And then how you behave is going to, of course, determine what results you're going to have in your life, right? So, by just tweaking one thing in this whole cycle, maybe you don't address the thoughts, maybe you address the behavior, that you are like, okay, even though I feel self doubt, but still I am going to, try my best to work upon this. I'm going to devote time and I'm going to take action, rather than rather than just avoiding that by going to TV or by going to social media. So if you just change one element of this, the whole pattern, the whole flow chart might change, and hence the result that you were going to have might change, might be different, might be something that you really want. And here is the thing. um so your thoughts are not true, as we covered. And it is interesting that this particular reading came up after the kind of meditation that we did, which was about thoughts, which was about overthinking, about negative thoughts. So, yeah, so what I was saying is that, you know, if all of us are is in some situation, and if all of us have like, if the situation is same for all of us, for example, um let's say you get turned down, you were applying for a job and you get turned down, you receive um like we regret to inform you, that kind of email or something. So, yeah, so this is the same situation, and we are all in that situation. But each one of us would have a different kind of thought process in this particular situation. Some of us might be like, I'm never going to get a job, I have all this mortgage, to pay, I have all these AMIs to pay, I have to take care of the expensive, what is going to happen, market is going down, we don't have jobs, everyone is unemployed. Someone might think in this manner. Someone might be like, you know okay, um maybe I will try, for the next job. Let's see. Or I have already, applied in these jobs, and I will wait and see what I'm going to, hear from them. Someone might be like, okay, they don't deserve me. So if we are very, very like self-confident, or the self-esteem is very high, then they would be like, they don't deserve me. I never really liked this job. Who ask a person to do this much work and just pay this much? So we all might have different kinds of responses. Someone would be like, or some other person would be like, okay, maybe I would still respond to this email in a very nice manner. And, I would not just give up, because I've heard that this email is not the end. There is still scope for something. So, yeah, everyone would have different kind of response in the very same situation that we are exposed to. And the reason why we have different kind of thoughts in the same situation, like different people have different kind of thoughts in the same situation, is because of our beliefs as to what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about, other people or life or world. And those beliefs are stored in our subconscious. Those are our beliefs that determine that, I'm going to have this kind of thought. Because you might have noticed that a situation happens and then a thought pops up in your head. So, what kind of thought will pop up in your head is determined by the belief that you hold about yourself, other people, or life. So, basically, your beliefs are running everything in your life, from the way you think to feel to the results that you're getting in your life. And there is a lot more happening. So, so there is something known as self-fulfilling prophecy, meaning that what we believe, there's going to be a whole cycle in terms of how we think, as I showed, like in this case. So if I believe I'm not good enough, maybe I will have the thought when I get a project, a big project, that I can't do this. I will feel overwhelmed, scared, worried, and I might procrastinate because I don't want to focus on those feelings. I don't want to feel that way. And if I procrastinate, I would not be able to devote time for that for that project, and I'm not going to be able to deliver the project, up to at least my expectations. And then you are going to use this particular evidence where you didn't deliver a good presentation as an evidence that, see, Anisha, you're not good enough. Remember this time? And you're going to gather all these evidences as you go through your life and prove yourself again and again that this is true. And the brain always ignores, like most of the times it ignores at the information that contradicts these beliefs. That is why you continue to believe the same things, you continue to believe the same way as you believed a few years maybe, until something you know um like very insightful happens for you. And this is because your brain is maintaining this whole mechanism. So, if you would firstly like to identify the beliefs that are running your life and what is this whole cycle that I'm talking about, then I have a course for you to help you, figure out what do you exactly believe, what's stored in your subconscious, what might be stopping you to move towards your goals, what is that hidden sneaky belief. So, coming back to this, this reading that focused on neuroplasticity and how, what it said was that we can change at any age. So, if we change anything about this whole cycle, preferably beliefs because they are at the root, but if we change anything at all, if we start to respond differently in the situation that used to trigger our different our old belief, our old patterns, so if we choose to respond differently, then what would happen is, to give you a visual, it's like a open field. Okay, the visual that came to me. So it's like an open field, okay, and there is a path already paved, a cemented path, for example. Okay, not cemented path, but yeah, a already paved path, okay. And whenever something happens, you automatically go through that path. You go through that because it is already paved out and it is easier to walk on. So you follow your old pattern. But now, what we're trying to do is that what neuroplasticity says is that you can create a new path for yourself in that field of your mind. You, each time you walk on that new path, initially it would be difficult because it is long grass, and you have to like pave your way and it would be slow and, maybe it would take effort and all of that. But each time you walk through that path, when a triggering situation comes to you, that new path would start to form. The grass would start to get like depressed or something, yeah, by your feet. And that new path would also start to form. And after enough repetitions, this path would be as strong as this one. And over time, over a lot of time, if you would not use this path, then what would happen is the grass would start to grow on this path. And that old pattern would not become your go to, but instead you would have this new path that is easier to walk on. And hence you would able to respond to the situation in the manner that you desire rather than reacting with your old pattern. So that is what can happen for you. And that new response can be about changing anything in this whole cycle that I mentioned. So yeah, so I hope that that this reading was helpful for any one of you, who needed it. And if you would like to share, like, what clicked about this reading for you, or what I said, or anything else that came up for you as I was reading this, you can share that, or how it applies to you, whatever it is you want to share, you can share that in the comments. Or yeah, and then I will just take a sip and then we can move on to the next reading. Alan says, beautiful insights. Thank you, Alan. I am glad that you resonated with them and something clicked. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to just take a sip and then we can move on to the next reading. Okay, so let me open the wheel again. So, again, holding in your mind whatever it is that you need guidance on. Okay, amazing. This is the book that came up in our last live as well, and this is a newly added book. Um, yeah, so the name of the book is The Universe Has Your Back. Transform fear into faith. And this book has been written by Gabrielle Bernstein. Okay, so let's see what this book wants to convey to all of us. Give me a second to open the book. And this time we are going to play with the numbers. So I'm going to ask you guys to choose between certain numbers. So yeah, it is going to be more fun. Okay, give me a second to choose a number. Okay. So I invite you guys. Okay, before I mention the numbers, I want to let you know if anyone is joining for the very first time that I don't want you guys to rush when I say that choose a number. I want you guys to take your time and choose a number, mention that number in a comment that pops up for you. I want you to develop a connection with your intuition and then choose a number. And once you would share the numbers, then another thing I want to let you know if you're joining for the very first time is that the reason I don't want you to rush through the numbers is because I'm not going to choose a number that is at the top. Instead, I would choose a number randomly out of all the numbers that you mentioned. So, the number that I feel called to. And whoever number I choose is, it doesn't mean that that reading is just for them. It is for all of us because you are here. So, you are meant to receive that message. Sometimes it happens that it resonates with that person a little bit more, but yeah, it is for all of us. So, the numbers between which I am inviting you guys to choose is 18 to 175. Thank you, Bonita. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, maybe one more number and then we can begin. Okay, we have another number by Rob. Wonderful. So let's see, which number am I feeling called to among these? Okay, so the number that I am feeling, okay, we have another number. Okay, I will consider that as well. Let's see. Okay, the number still I am feeling called to is 98, and the number has been chosen by Rachel for all of us. Thank you, Rachel. So let's see what this number wants to convey to us. 98. Hmm. Okay, so the author says So, the universal lesson for this, like the title is Obstacles are detour in the right direction. Again, obstacles are detours in the right direction. So, the author says, A Course in Miracles says, miracles rearrange perception and release you from all lack and isolation. Again, miracles rearrange perception and release you from all lack and isolation. Practicing this and entering into a miracle mindset is the clearest path towards grace. Clear direction may not always be presented to you immediately, but know that you are on the right path. This knowing is crucial to your happiness and peace. When you get into the know and accept that even the most difficult obstacles can be divine intervention, you can deepen your faith in the universe. When you choose to see your obstacles as detours in the right direction, you can begin to find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid all the discomfort. Maybe you can connect to a higher purpose and make a real connection to someone, or even be set on a path that will redirect the course of your life in an ultimately positive way, which were not otherwise possible. All obstacles that are perceived with love can be transformed into greatest life lessons. This is my mission, to guide you to choose love no matter what, so that you can turn all up no matter what, so that you can turn all obstacles into opportunities for spiritual growth. The key to trusting in the universe's plan is to let go of all the outcomes. When we hung up about how something should turn out, then we disconnect with the flow of universal guidance. The energy behind should mentality is controlling and manipulating. The universe does not align with that energy. Therefore, we cut off communication and receptivity. It's when we let go of the outcome that we open up our our perceptual worldview and allow ourselves to be led. So I hope that this message reaches anyone who is feeling disappointed or frustrated when things are not going your way, when you're facing obstacles, when you're facing failure, and you remember that these shoulds of how things should happen, of how you should get there, wherever you want to go, is the one that is blocking you. And to see the obstacles or whatever is happening in your life that is making you feel frustrated or disappointed on your path towards your goal, to see that as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to remember your deepest truth, and maybe to even realign, to check in, do I still want to pursue this goal? Not because of fear, but out of what your heart truly wants. So, I have two things for you if you would like to get into this deeper. The first thing is to learn to recognize your shoulds, your rules of what should, what need to, what have to happen. So, if you also have this kind of a thinking pattern, then I encourage you to check out two lessons from this particular course that I have mentioned here, which is Master Your Thoughts by Overcoming Your Common Thinking Errors. Because this should kind of thinking is a very common thinking pattern, an unhelpful thinking pattern, according to various therapeutic approaches, not just, the spirituality or this knowledge, of manifesting and stuff, but according to most, like almost everything, whether it is manifesting or spiritual views or therapeutic practice. So, if you indulge in this kind of thinking that I should do this, I have to do this, and this kind of a thinking, then you can check out maybe lesson 2 and lesson 3 from this course, because in one I mentioned what it is exactly, how it manifests, and in the next lesson I mentioned that how you can overcome it, the switch that you need to make, and it is a very simple thing that you can change. So, yeah, so if you have this pattern, feel free to check out this course. You can save it. And the other thing hmm, is something that I do, which I am going to reveal in a second when I'm going to share with you guys the gift that I offer to all the women who attend my live and listen to me till the end, who stay till the end. So I offer a gift, and that gift would help you towards this reading and whatever else that you're going through. So for now, um, I need to like make some announcements for anyone who is joining us for the very first time. So the first announcement is that this whole live is getting recorded. So if you like the meditation and you want to revisit, or maybe if you would like to listen to a reading, to a reminder again that came through, a message that came through in this live, or maybe check out my other lives in the series, because this is the 88th episode of Wheel of Wisdom. So we have a lot of lives. Then, in that case, you can access the replay. Let me show you guys where and how. It is, give me a second. Yeah, so you can go to my profile, okay, and you can go to the About section there. In that, when you will scroll down, you will see a link tree. And when you click on this link tree, you will see Wheel of Wisdom replay written there. So it contains a playlist of all the lives that I have done in this particular series. And the reason I created that playlist is because I want you to continue what we did here on your own whenever you need it. So if you're going through something and if you would like some guidance, or to receive some wisdom, then, and I'm not going live, what you can do is that you can access that replay and choose a number. When you open that playlist, choose a number between 1 to 88, because that is the number of this episode. And whatever number comes up for you, just watch that particular video, knowing that this is the message that wanted to reach me. And I hope that you will receive something that would help you, feel reassured, have that clarity, or whatever it is that you need in that moment. So yeah, that's why I created a playlist, and I hope that it would be useful for you. And It does take like 1 hour for this whole video to get uploaded on my channel. So, if you would like immediate access to the readings that we do, then another thing that you can do is that you can join my group on Insight Timer. Let me mention the name of it here. So, it is a free, like, public group, and you can either search this name on this in the search box on Insight Timer, or you can find it in my profile. And what I do in this group is that I post a summary of the live in that group, including like the type of meditation that we did, the names of the book that we read, the readings that we did, the exact readings, so that you don't miss out on anything. And also, I know some people are visual learners or they like to see things visually. So, yeah, if you would like to read, then you can read that summary and know what we talked about. And I also do some other things in that group, like that is a way to stay updated and connected. So if I'm publishing a new track, because as I mentioned, we do one meditation in each of these lives, and we have recorded around like 90 meditations or something so far. So now I am releasing them one by one on Insight Timer as a free track, so it is accessible for anyone who need it. So yeah, I whenever a new track is released, I mention that in the group. If a live of mine is getting cancelled because of something, I update that in the group. So yeah, so if you would like to get notified every time a new track of the series gets released, or to have the summary and everything, then you can join the group, join my little community on Insight Timer. And if not, you can just always follow me to get notified about the new tracks or the next live that is in line. Let me put that live here. So yeah, so my next live is like day after tomorrow at the same time, like 1 hour before. So at the same time of this live. And let me show you guys like where you can find the group in my profile if you're looking that way. So you can go to my, profile again and scroll all the way down. Okay. So like these are the tracks that I recently released, and they are a part of a playlist which is a 21-day mindfulness challenge. And it involves like all the free tracks so that you can develop a habit and bring mindfulness into your life, so you feel more alive and connected, and notice the beauty around you and all of that stuff. So yeah, so you can like scroll all the way down and you will see different playlists here. So I've created the one I was mentioning, right now is 21-day mindfulness meditation challenge. Then I have also created a playlist for this Wheel of Wisdom meditation. So if a track do not fit any series, like I made this another series which is chakra series. So all, you know, so balancing your chakra using affirmation, chants, visualization and stuff like that. So if the track do not fit any series, I put it here in Wheel of Wisdom meditations, and it contains all the free tracks. So yeah, you can just check out. So I tried to organize all of my content in the form of playlists, so you can check that out. But yeah, I was talking about the group. So when you scroll all the way down in the home page, sorry, yeah, so in the home page, you will see this group, Wonderful Beings. And yeah, I would love to have you as a part of that community. Um, okay, now it's time to reveal the gift. So, um, So we were talking about, in the last reading, like working towards your goal or achieving what you really desire, move towards that. So apart from being a mindfulness meditation teacher, I am also a psychologist and I am an aligned life coach. So the gift that I offer is that, so this is a gift that I recently started offering. And the gift that I offer to all the women who attend my live and stay till the end is a complimentary session with me. So, if you would like a free 1 hour coaching session where, I can guide you, support you in relation to whatever it is that you want to talk about, in terms of creating a fulfilling life or becoming the person that you want to become and stuff like that, then you can, or anything else also, you can just message me. That's all you need to do to grab onto this offer, which is to message me. And the way to message me is you can go to my profile, okay? And if you're following me, you would see the follow button becomes the donate button here, and three dots above it appear. So click on the three dots and go to message teacher option. And from here, you can message me that Anisha, I'm interested. And if you're wondering, should I, go for it or not, then I can promise you one thing that you're going to leave that session with at least one powerful insight because that has happened with every single woman that I've worked with so far. So I can promise you that much. Yeah, so I guess this is the end of this live. And if you found anything valuable from this live, even if it was just an assurance or something like that, or if you enjoyed this space, and if you would like to support me to continue keeping the space alive, to show up, and to continue offering like all those different resources, whether it is a free meditation, whether it is, these complimentary session for women. So yeah, if you would like to support me, do that and support my journey and my work, then you can do so by making a donation of whatever amount that you feel called to, because I always say the amount do not matter. It just an energy exchange. And I always feel grateful to receive the support in any way that you guys can. So, if you cannot donate, if you're not able to do so, then you can support me in other ways. Like you can listen to my courses, you can check out my courses. I already have like 7 courses, or you can listen to my premium content, to you, so you can support me in that manner, or even just free content because it just brings a light to my face to just read that how you are finding these meditations. So yeah, in whatever way you feel called to support me, it is much appreciated. Alan says, thank you so much for your wisdom today. Thank you, Alan, for tuning in. I am glad to see you coming back. It's always a pleasure to see so many people, so many regulars now returning back to these lives. And it brings joy to my heart to see that you're receiving something of value from these lives to spend your time with me. Um, yeah, so thank you so much for, to all of you for your presence. Thank you for all the lovely comments. I love the interaction because the interaction and the hearts is what keep me going. It encouraged me to keep speaking and to keep showing up. And I bow down to the divine within you all. Namaste. I will see you day after tomorrow. And don't forget to message me if you're a woman who is interested in that gift. Okay, bye bye. Take care.